Let me guess. You woke up today with big plans. This was supposed to be the day you finally locked in, cleaned up your routine, and handled business. But instead of tackling your goals, you spent the last 2 hours staring at your phone, scrolling through short clips, and rationalizing why starting tomorrow makes way more sense. And now, you're watching this video, hoping for some miraculous burst of motivation to save you. Well, spare me a second, because I have bad news for you. Motivation isn't coming, and relying on willpower is the exact reason you keep failing. Most productivity advice is built for people who already have their life together. They tell you to just have discipline, wake up at 5 a.m. and cold shower your way to victory. But if you have zero discipline right now, telling you to just be disciplined is like telling a guy with a broken leg to just run a marathon. It's useless and, frankly, kind of annoying. So let's stop pretending you're going to magically transform into a hyper-focused machine overnight. You don't need willpower to lock in. What you actually need is friction architecture and environmental leverage. Look, your brain is fundamentally lazy. It's hardwired to seek maximum reward for minimum effort. When you sit down to work and your phone is sitting right next to your mouse, your brain does simple math. Option A, grind through 2 hours of mentally demanding task for a potential payoff weeks from now. Option B, pick up the shiny rectangle and get instant dopamine right now. You're going to lose that fight 99 times out of 100. Not because you're weak, but because you set up a fight you were guaranteed to lose. If you want to lock in when you have zero discipline, step 1 is simple. Eliminate decision-making. Stop negotiating with yourself. When you sit down at your desk and ask yourself, what should I do now? You've already lost. Every choice drains your energy. By the time you decide what to start with, your brain is exhausted. And you end up opening a new browser tab to check random stuff. Instead, build absurdly clear systems. Before you leave your workspace at night or go to bed, write down the single thing you have to do the next day. Not 10 things, 1. Make it so stupidly specific that a middle schooler could execute it without asking questions. When you sit down, you don't think. You don't reflect. You don't check your mood. You just start that one task. Which brings us to step 2, the 2-minute rule for chronic procrastinators. When the task feels huge, your brain panics and looks for an escape route. So don't commit to working for 4 hours. Commit to working for 2 minutes. Tell yourself, I am going to open this document and write 1 sentence. If I want to quit after 2 minutes, I am fully allowed to quit. Here's the trick. The hardest part of any task isn't the work itself. It's the transition from doing nothing to doing something. Once you cross that initial barrier of friction, momentum takes over. You'll usually realize the work isn't as painful as your anxiety convinced you it would be, and you'll keep going. And even if you do quit after 2 minutes, congratulations, you still broke the spell of complete inaction. Step 3. Ruthlessly destroy environmental friction. If you want to stop eating trash food, you don't buy trash food and put it in your pantry hoping you'll have the willpower to ignore it. You keep it out of the house. Apply that exact same logic to your focus. Throw your phone in another room. Put a website blocker on your browser. Put on noise-canceling headphones, even if no music is playing, just to signal to yourself that you're in work mode. Make getting distracted as annoying and high effort as possible, and make taking action as effortless as picking up a pen. Now, let's address the inevitable crash. Because even with the best system, there are going to be days where your brain feels like wet cardboard. You're going to get distracted, spend an hour on a rabbit hole, and feel that familiar guilt creep in. This is where most people quit entirely. They think, well, I ruined the morning, might as well throw the whole day away and start fresh on Monday. That is absolute nonsense. A bad hour does not make a bad day unless you allow it to. If you catch yourself slipping, don't throw a dramatic pity party. Acknowledge it, close the distracting tabs, reset your timer, and execute one small action immediately. You don't need a fresh week or a fresh month to reset. Every single second is a chance to restart the clock. At the end of the day, locking in isn't about feeling heroic or superhuman. It's about being practical. It's about accepting that your brain will always try to take the path of least resistance, and then deliberately building a path where focus is the only logical choice left. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you've got this. You might not. You might close this tab, pick up your phone, and waste the next 5 hours doing absolutely nothing. That's entirely your call. But if you're tired of being passive in your own life, put the phone down, clear your desk, pick one task, and give it 2 minutes. Are you locking in, or are we having this exact same conversation next week? You tell me.